Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Alex with Roach Gaming, part of Salt Boys. I'll be doing a little deck profile of my Red Broly BR deck. This one was actually played by Dom, but I made some upgrades. I bought it off of him and just started playing with it. So I just want to show it off real quick. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button, give us a like. And honestly, just, let us know what else y'all want to watch, but let's get straight into it. So the leader itself, Broly. So activate main once per turn. Add one card from your life to your hand. This card gains critical for the turn. Activate main, add up to one red extra card with the energy cost of 1 from your deck to your hand. Shuffle your deck, then negate this skill for the game. Awaken at 4 or less life. You may switch up to 2 of your energy to active mode, then flip this card over. So pretty cool. I'm able to grab a lot of extra cards using the second activate main. If I go second, it's a nice way to get a little crit off and helps me awaken a little early. On the back side, if you have a Red Broly BR card in play, this card gains critical, which almost always you're going to have Red Broly BR, so you're going to be able to have crit literally every single time you swing with this. When this card attacks, draw 1, then this card gets +5 for the battle. Nice little +1, and then also +5, which helps us put a little bit of pressure. Basically, we're swinging 20k crit as long as the Red Broly BR is in play, so pretty cool. Then, my favorite auto, choose one card in your hand and discard it when one of your Red Broly BR cards is removed from your battle area by opponent's skill or KO'd. Choose up to one Red Broly BR card with an energy cost of 4 or less in your hand and play it. So even if, you get your chain going and they, try removing stuff and they do remove it, you can easily go back into the chain, prepare for the next turn to, try going for game. So that's the leader. Now for my Unison, actually. We are actually playing 4 Piccolo Juniors, Giant Force. So this Piccolo Junior, once per turn, when you add a card from their life to, when your opponent adds a card from their life to the hand or drop area, add a marker to this card. It's only costs 1, so it's pretty good. +1, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and it gets -5 for the turn. Pretty helpful. Helps us, be able to knock stuff out with the 9k. And then -6, this is kind of like the game ender if we get to it. If your leader card is red, choose up to 2 mono red battle cards with different card names, energy cost of 3 or less, and 19k power or less in the deck or hand. Play them, then shuffle your deck if you look through it. So this card, definitely helps us put on a little bit of pressure. Helps us, really just go into just putting a little pressure on, and just helps us get a lot of our extra cards out, because honestly we just need a Unison, and for it being 1, pretty cheap, especially with this deck. Can't really use too much energy. Most of it's going for the chain. And then if we're able to get to that -6, which I've seen happen pretty easily before, we are able to literally bring out 3k and then also a 2k or a 1k and just literally go into the chain and just add the pressure and just try going for game. And we're going to be running 4 of them, not just 1. This is so that way we can see it more often than not, and it is also searchable off of a lot of our other cards. So that's that. The next thing up we have is going to be Planet Vampa. Planet Vampa is our field card that we try going to literally turn 1. So off of that Broly backside or front side, activate main, choose one extra card with the energy cost of 1 from your deck or hand, then shuffle your deck, then negate the skill for the game. We're trying to aim for Planet Vampa. The reason why is because if we're able to play this turn 1, we are able to get close to awakening, literally by turn 1, turn 2. And then it also searches. So right here, if your leader card is a Red Broly BR card and you add 1 card from your life to your hand, look up to 7 cards from the top of your deck, play up to 1 Red Broly BR, Paragus BR, Bob BR, or Golemite BR card with 5k power or less among them, just shuffle your deck. If you play the card, choose 1 card in your hand and discard it. So this card's really nice because what we do is we play it, then we play a 1 cost, and then just kind of gets us going. One thing that they did add for this card, it's an errata that you can't see on here, but after the once per turn, it also says as long as you don't have any battle cards in play, I believe. So this is really good, you know, turn 1, if they wipe your board, you know, easily for a turn 2 play, because, you know, this isn't going to get hit. It's a field card, not a battle card. So it's kind of nice, but we definitely want to try going into that. But in case we already have that, or we're not trying to go into it just because of the certain play, we have other extra battle cards, or extra cards that are also 1 cost. So Wolfang Fist, we're going to be running 3 of these. It's counterattack. If your leader card is mono red, choose up to 1 of your attacking battle cards or leader. Ignoring barrier gets -15 for the battle. If I have a red unison in play, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost. Really nice because we have the Piccolo Giant Force. If we play that, this becomes free. So we run 3 of these. The next thing we play is going to be our King Vegeta Imposing Presence. We're going to run 2 of these. This is nice because if we're at 3 or less life, which you'd be surprised how quick we're going to get to that, we could discard 1 card and play this for free. Counterattack, -10 for the attacking card, ignoring barrier. And then opponent can't attack with battle cards or cards in general unless they give it -5. So definitely helps us prevent, you know, other decks going ham on us. And honestly, just a nice little defense that we use. We run 2 of them. We also run 1 Violent Ray, so in case we go against something that goes tall, we want to run 1 of these. If your leader card is red, negate the attack. You may choose 1 card in your hand, discard it. If you do, choose 1. Your opponent can't attack with battle cards with 20k power or more for the turn. Your opponent can't attack with unison cards with 20k power or more for the turn. So this really helps us, you know, in case, you know, something's going tall, trying to kill us. We're going to play this, and it just makes it where they have to basically pass turn. Really nice. Then the last thing for our extra cards is Rumble of Gods Ultra Instinct. If your leader card and energy are all red, choose up to 1 of your cards, and it gets +10k for the battle. Then choose 1. If it's your turn, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost or energy cost greater than their current energy, and it gets -30k for the turn. If it's your opponent's turn, draw 1, then choose up to 1 of your cards, and it gets +5 for the battle. So this is really nice. You can easily pivot with this card. We only want to run 1 of them because if we don't see it, it's not the end of the world, but it's kind of nice to either go for game or play some defense, and it just really helps us out. And again, all the cards I just mentioned, these are all part of the leader's targeting. So we could play any of these off of the leader, literally turn 1, or we're able to grab it turn 1. Now onto the Broly chain. This is the main part of the deck, the real engine that gets it going, and really just is the reason why we're playing this deck. So the first card in the chain is going to be our Broly Astonishing Potential. It has a swap 3, so if we have a 3 cost, we could bring it up for free. Auto, when this card is played, I can't play any other copies. Place 1 card from your life in the drop, helps us awaken basically. When this card is played, play up to 1 red ball from your deck, then shuffle your deck. So brings out a ball for free. It helps us get into our chain, and we have 4 of these. I wasn't able to get all the nice looking promos, but we got all 4 of them. Definitely want to see this turn 1 if possible, because if we're able to get that one out, we're able to go into our ball, Broly's first friend. This is a blocker, also lets us search for search for a 5 cost or less Broly, so it helps us find our pieces for the chain. We're going to be running 4 of these. This helps us also play a little bit of defense because there's not really too much defense in this deck, so for it coming out for free, really nice. This is also able to be played off of Planet Vampa, so a nice little target as well. We're going to be playing 3 Broly Saiyan Youth. These cards basically do the same thing as Astonishing Potential, but instead of it bringing out a ball, we're actually going to get plus 11k power for having a ball out. So the play usually is to do the first Broly, then go into the ball, have those 2 out, then, you know, leave the ball out there. Then the next turn, we bring Broly Saiyan Youth out. It's a 15, so we're able to swing with it, and then you get to swap 3 with it. So really nice. Again, can't play copies of this card for the turn, but we are running 3 just for that, and it helps us get into our chain as well. The next card in the chain is going to be Broly Bonafide Saiyan. This card is our 3 cost, so this is going to be targeted off the 2/1 cost. Servant gets plus 10, so he's really a 19k body. And when this card is played, choose up to 1 red Paragus card with energy cost of 1 in your hand and play it. So it's really nice because we could even go into the Paragus with this guy. Helps us search a little bit. But he's also part of the chain, so he has a swap 4 where I could go into the 4 cost literally off of this guy for 1 red energy. And we're literally running red energy the entire thing. Like if you run anything else than that, you're not doing this right. So like I mentioned with that guy, we're gonna also be having the Paragus. We're only gonna run 3 of these guys. This one is, when it's played, I get to look top 5, and I get to add up to 1 red Broly BR card or 1 red Unison card with specified cost of 1 among them to the hand, then shuffle my deck. So he's really nice to be able to search, and for whatever reason, if we need to draw an extra card, he does have the Overlord ability, and I don't know if y'all saw with this Broly, he has a Servant. So Servant's not able to restand after he swings, but with Paragus, what he's allowed to do, since he's an Overlord, I could pop this guy and actually draw 1. So we don't really use that too often, but it is kind of like if we don't have the cards that we need in our hand, we do go into that. And like I said, we're running 4 of these and 3 of these, just to make sure that we have, we're able to see the Broly Bonafide stay in the 3 costs. So next thing in the chain is the Broly Power of the Great Apes, the 4 cost. It has a swap 5, so we could go into the 5 cost with this guy by paying 1. He has Servant as well, so once he swings, he can't restand. Auto, if your lead card is red, when this card is played, choose up to 1 of your red Unison cards, add 1 marker to it. That's why I said with the Unison, it does help us out, getting up to its -6 really quick. And then also, my opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and sends it to their warp. At the end of the opponent's next turn, they add the card sent to their warp by the skill from their warp to their hand. So basically, once he gets played, the opponent has to take 1 from their hand, send it to the warp. They don't get that back until after their turn. So it's really nice to kind of like put some pressure on. You play this guy out, they basically have to drop 1 essentially. You swing, and it just makes it where they don't get any card advantage off of the swing. He's a Servant, so he also gets plus 10, so he's actually 20k. Really nice, helps us get into our chain easily. I like going into him on turn 2 and just kind of leaving him there. And also, if something gets popped, once something does get popped, I'm able to go into this guy off of leader skill. So really cool. After the 4 costs, we're going to begin to our big bodies. So obviously we've been swinging with anything 20k or less since we started the chain, but we're going to start getting to some stuff that's a little bit stronger. So again, by paying 1 for the 4 cost, we're going to go into the 5 cost. This is Super Saiyan Broly Combat Evolution. He has a swap 6, but it has to be whenever when your opponent has 3 or more energy, or you have 4 or more energy. I'm able to swap into the 6 cost for 1. This guy's really good. Usually if you're going second, it's nice because on their turn 3, you're able to set this up. And so it's just kind of cool because turn 3, we're going to this, and then obviously into the 6 cost, and just very aggro. Auto, he does the same thing that the other one does, the 4 cost. I get to add a marker to Unison, then the opponent chooses 1 card in their hand, sends it to warp, and they don't get it back until the end of their next turn. We're playing 4 of these just to make sure we see them, but it's really good. The 30k crit really hurts, and it's really hard to overcome unless they want to, dump a lot of their hand, which helps us as well. The last part in the chain is going to be our Super Saiyan Broly Unlimited Power. This is our boss monster of the deck. We could run the Secret Rare, which is the 8 cost, but to be honest, it's not really necessary and costs way too much for what I want to pay. So we're going to just be having the 6 cost as our big body. It has a unique critical double strike. If your leader card is red, when this card is played, choose up to one of your red unison cards, add 2 markers to it. Then choose up to 3 cards in your opponent's hand, send them to the warp. At the end of the opponent's next turn, they add all the cards into the warp by this skill from their warp to their hand. So essentially, we're doing a nice little green hand control. We're ripping 3, sending it to the warp. They don't get to use them. And if everything works out up until then, we're essentially grabbing 1 here, grabbing 1 there. So that's 2 already. We're swinging with the crit, so that's 1 that they don't get. So essentially we're getting +3 off of this for card advantage. We're already swinging off that, and then potentially this guy as well. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And essentially, because double strike 5, 6 swings we're getting in. And also don't forget the leader card, he also has crit as long as one of these guys are out. So makes it where we're adding on to it. So if we're able to get into this guy, it's probably GG's, to be honest. Like I said, crit double strike, that's tough because with the crit, they don't actually get the card from their life into their hand. It just goes straight to drop. So we're not letting them play the game, essentially. Really good. I really like him. I haven't got to use him too much just because, you know, usually going up to the 5 cost is enough, but once I see him, I'm definitely trying to play him. Also with, I think it was one of these other searchers, it allows us to go into anything 5 costs or less, or like grab a 5 cost or less. So he's not really a target for any of them. So you kind of have to mulligan for him or just hope to see him in your draws. As far as our tech, so that's the end of the chain. This is, you know, these cards right here, everything you want to play. These are kind of like our little extra card text. Really essential. I suggest using every single one, at least 1 of, if not more. I use 3 of the wolf things and 2 of the imposing presences just because I want to see them more than just off of the leader skill. I use 2 Planet Vampas just in case one goes into life. Hopefully we see the second one. I haven't had problems just yet. But as far as like our tech cards, we're going to have Broly Crown of Retribution, really good against blue and some yellow. Whenever this card is played, your opponent, if your opponent has 2 more energy in active mode, your opponent reveals their hand and you choose up to 1 battle card with 20k power or less, play it into your opponent's draw. So he's really nice because not only can we search him off of Planet Vampa, but also it allows us to really look at the opponent's hand, see what we're working with, grab a card from it, send it to drop, and really just, you know, get a lot of hand knowledge off of it. So it helps us out, especially if we're about to go into the 6 cost. So he's nice to have. We play one of, for King Piccolo, the new ruler, Judge card. For some reason this was cheaper than the regular one, but I'm not complaining. Permanent, if your leader card is red, this card gains +5 and your opponent can activate blockers in response to this card's attack. He has double strike, activate main. If you have red unison card in play with 3 or more markers on it, play this card from your hand, and you can't play copies of this card for the turn. At the end of the turn, send this card to Ender's Warp. So he's really nice because off the unison card, we're more than likely going to have more than 3 already, and so we could easily go into this, bang, added pressure, double strike, hopefully going for game. And you can't counter him, nice. Another tech card we have is going to be our Oblivious Rampage Son Goku. We're not really going to use this evolve skill because we don't have any Gokus in this deck, other than maybe, I guess, extra card Realm of the Gods, but he doesn't count. Activate May once per turn, burst 3, choose one of your red battle cards and KO it. Switch this card to active mode. He has critical, so he's just a nice little, you know, going for game, just adding some extra pressure if we have 3 energy that we have open. Just really cool. He's more like for the long play terms, or like the long games, but he's nice to have. The last tech card we have is Fearless Pan. Fearless Pan is also a turn 3, turn 4 play. She has barrier blocker. When you play this card, choose all of your other red leader cards and red battle cards. They gain +5 for the power, +5k power, and double strike for the duration of the turn. So if we're going for game, set up your board, play Fearless Pan, and really just go for it because everybody gets double +5. That means literally everybody is, you know, able to go for games. So the 4 cost becomes a 9 cost double strike, so add literally a super combo to it. He's threatening. The Broly Saiyan Youth, if Baal's out, then he becomes a 20k double. Baal becomes a 10k double, not really caring about that. This becomes a 24k double. Same thing with Baal, or that Broly, 9k double. This guy becomes a 25 double, 35 double, and then a 40, well, he's still double, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, you want to be setting that up. Really good card, just kind of a little tech. As far as our super combos, we want to draw as many cards as possible. So we're going to be using Rad's Saiyan Youth. And sometimes you don't want to see a ball in your hand or certain cards. So this card is good to take them out and put them back into your deck so you can search them rather than having to use it for hand size. So he's really good, plus gives us plus 10, bomb deck 1, draw 2. Last thing we have is our Overrealm. And it's going to be our Super Saiyan 3 Tag Team Trunks. Overrealm 3, so he's pretty cheap. When you play this card using Overrealm, it gains crit for the duration of the turn. If you haven't noticed, half of our stuff has crit, so we're not letting the opponent get any kind of hand size off of taking our life. Activate battle, choose 1 card in your hand, send it to your warp. This card gains double strike for the duration of the battle. So he's good to help us also add some extra pressure. If we have 3 cards already in, drop, then he becomes and we have 1 card to spare, then he becomes a 20k crit, or no, a 15k double strike crit, which in this deck, that's easy money, and for free, yeah, we'll take it. So this is my deck profile of Red Broly. If you have any suggestions or you like this video, definitely comment in the comment section and let us know like what I can do better. I definitely want to play a couple games and be able to post it so y'all can see how this deck works. But yeah, this has been Roach Gaming, and we out.
Is that it? That's it. That's it. I'm done.
Okay.
Well, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Go follow our Twitter. Obviously, subscribe to YouTube. I don't know. We don't have an Instagram, so we won't make one.
See you next time.
See you next time.